A Muslim teacher has been fired after she had the audacity to show a video of Malala to her students. Now, she's not the only teacher in the school district or even the school that's done this. Other teachers have done the same. However, this Muslim teacher is saying that because of her Muslim religion and her background as a Palestinian, the school district and the parents of some of the students have come down hard on her and fired her as a result. Now, her name is Sireen Hashem, and here's what she says. Hashem was fired from Hunterdon Central Regional High School, allegedly over the lesson plans. A self-described Muslim American of Palestinian descent, Hashem says she was prohibited from mentioning Islam or the Middle East in her history classes after parents and local religious leaders complained about her to school administrators. Now, they were accusing her of being anti-Semitic. I don't know what all of her lessons entailed, but I'm guessing that since she was of Palestinian descent, she was probably a little more critical of what Israel was doing.
No, I wouldn't. Look, I wouldn't even say that.
Yeah.
We don't know that. There's no evidence of that. And the overwhelming majority of her students support her.
Yeah.
So the people that are charging her with that, there's some chance that they might be biased and say, well, she's Palestinian, so we can't have it. She was told not to talk about her background at all. That don't mention you're Muslim, don't say you're Palestinian, don't talk about it. We're not interested in your perspective. Who bothers to tell other teachers that? Can you imagine you sit down with a teacher and you're like, okay, don't talk about how you're black. Okay, we don't want to hear about how you're black. Wait a minute, what the hell are you telling me that for?
No, it absolutely doesn't happen. And the crazy thing is, like, Malala Yousafzai, who's a Nobel laureate, is probably the one Muslim that everyone can rally around, right, in this country. She's like the least controversial one.
She's the one we don't want to ban.
Right.
Yeah, she can come.
And unfortunately, I see this as just yet another incident, an episode of the widespread ignorance and intolerance out there towards Muslim Americans. And I'm not going to fault Donald Trump directly, but I will say that all the demagoguery we're hearing right now and all the fear-mongering, there are consequences to that. I mean, just a few weeks ago, he said that people, Muslim Americans, he saw them during 9/11 in New Jersey, jumping up and down and applauding during 9/11. Well, guess what? This is New Jersey, too. And you know, maybe they're not Trump supporters, but there is definitely a harmful and negative consequence to these type of...
Yeah, so people are getting fired. This is just one of several stories. I have another story that I'm going to share with you guys in just a second. But Muslim educators are being discriminated against. They're being fired from their jobs for teaching the exact same thing that other teachers use in their history classes. So she did the same thing that another teacher did. She showed clips of Malala. Malala is not a controversial figure. If you find Malala to be controversial, then you are the most ignorant, ill-informed person in the country.
Yeah. Malala is controversial to extremists.
Exactly.
That's who.
No. So I've got to clarify.
I've
got to clarify because not everybody knows who Malala Yousafzai is. So this is the most ironic thing you can do. She was the brave girl who, at the age of 14, was arguing for making sure that girls should be educated, and Muslim radical extremists came and shot her in the face
on her school bus.
In her school bus or near her school bus for being in favor of women being educated. So, I mean, if you're against Muslim radicals, how could you not be in favor of Malala Yousafzai? She was shot in the face by them. She had the courage to stand up to them. And knowing that she was in danger, and she did it anyway, she's the most courageous. I mean, you want to talk about a Muslim reformer, you want to talk about a Muslim progressive, you can't find a better role model than Malala Yousafzai. If you're against her and you think she shouldn't be taught, well, then you're saying definitively, without question, I'm a bigot, I hate all Muslims, I don't care what they did. I don't care how much they're against Muslim radicals. I don't care how brave they were in the fight against Muslim radicals. I don't care. I see Muslim, I hate. Okay? So that is bigotry. And by the way, it is amazing that in this case, Lindsay Wagner, another teacher at the school, taught the same exact lesson, no problem whatsoever. Now, a Palestinian teaches that lesson, biased, anti-Semite, what are you doing teaching about Muslims? You're fired. This is what we've become. No, the fascism has taken hold. It's here. It's not theoretical anymore. It's not like, what if Trump wins? What if this? What if that? No, they're firing people for being Muslim. I mean, what are we going to do next? Confiscate property?
I think it's really important that you did bring up that a lot of the students and former students and parents came out in support of her. There was like a Board of Education meeting. There were like 60 parents and teachers there, and the students have a hashtag trending. But what concerns me is like, what message does this send to young Muslim American kids all over the country? You know, when a teacher is fired, like it's going to tell them to conceal their identity. It's going to tell them they're not American. It's going to tell them that, you know, this country wants them alienated, and nothing good can come from that.
There's also a double standard when it comes to religious liberty, right? Like, you think about the uprising of Christians when the Supreme Court voted in favor of allowing same-sex marriage. They thought that their religion was under attack. No, your religion's not under attack. Muslim religion in the United States is under attack. They're the ones who are not only being openly discriminated against, they're being targeted for hate crimes. They're being targeted if they're praying in public. They're being targeted in so many different ways. And so if you really do value religious liberty, everyone in the country, including religious people in general, should be upset about this.
And by the way, the administrator, according to the plaintiff, when she said, hey, Lindsay Wagner taught the same thing, I don't understand what's happening.
By the way, Lindsay Wagner, bionic woman, for crying out loud.
That's a good point. So good for her for being a teacher now. The administrator told her, you're not Lindsay. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for making it even clearer what we're up to.
Yeah.
And then the other thing she got in trouble for was she taught Lemon Tree. It's a book about how there's an unlikely friendship between an Israeli and a Palestinian man. An Israeli and a Palestinian getting together. That's, you would think, is wonderful for Israelis and Palestinians and everybody else. They're like, how dare you?